Right now, you are staring at a folder containing 40 PDF reports, market analysis, or a peer-reviewed research paper. You are facing a massive cognitive bottleneck. You are trying to read them linearly, highlighting text and pasting notes into chaotic Word document. You are doing exactly what a first-year undergraduate student does. You are manually laboring over data extraction. You are fundamentally mispricing your time and misusing the technology. Claude 3.5 Sonnet has a massive context window, capable of ingesting dozens of dense paper in seconds. But if you just upload these PDFs and type, "Please summarize these," you are crippling a supercomputer. You will get a diluted, generic, and statistically average response that provides zero strategic leverage. Before I give you the exact 9-prompt architecture to turn Claude into a ruthless Stanford-level PhD researcher, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to manipulate algorithms and navigate the global labor market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these blueprints. Today, we are completely redefining how you process complex information. I'm going to give you 9 specific, highly engineered prompts that will turn 40 disparate research papers into structured literature review, contradiction maps, and multi-million-dollar market gaps in under 30 minutes. Grab a notebook. It is time to stop reading like a student and start extracting like an architect. Welcome back. I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the artificial intelligence and data synthesis is aggressively different from standard prompt guides, you must understand my underlying architecture. I hold a PhD in human resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences (TISS) in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering. I do not look at a large language models as chat. I look at them as highly complex semantic reasoning engines. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for apex corporate entities across the Middle East, I know exactly how institutional leaders process data. They do not want to summarize, they want structural clarity. They want to know where the consensus lie, where the systematic vulnerabilities are, and where the untouched market gap exists. If you want to operate the C-suite level, or if you are an elite consultant, founder, or academic, you must stop asking AI to summarize. You must command it to map, audit, and synthesize. Let us break down the exact 9 protocol to dominate any body of literature. Let us break down exact 9 prompts protocol to dominate any body of literature. Phase 1. The intake and the landscape. When you upload a massive batch of PDF into Claude, you must establish the operational boundaries immediately. If you do not constrain the AI upon ingestion, it will hallucinate or lose focus. Prompt 1. The intake protocol. You use this for exact moment you upload your file. You are explicitly banning summaries and demanding a structural map. I'm going to share X paper on topic. Before I ask anything, do this. 1. List every paper by author plus year plus core claim in one single sentence. 2. Group them into clusters of shared assumptions. 3. Flag any paper that contradicts another. Do not summarize. Map the landscape. The engineering logic. You are forcing the LLM to index the data by asking it to cluster by shared assumption. You are making it to perform semantic grouping. You instantly seize the major fraction of thought within the data without reading a single page. Prompt 2. The knowledge map. Once the data is ingested, you need a visual, structural frameworks to pin above your desk. You do not want prose. You want an architectural blueprint. Create a structured knowledge map of this entire literature. Format. Central claim, the field orbit around 3 to 5 supporting pillar. Well-established subclaims. 2 to 3 contested zones, active debates. 1 to 2 frontier questions nobody have solved yet. 3 papers a newcomer must read. First and why. Output as a clean outline, not prose. The engineering logic. You are extracting the hierarchy of the data. You are forcing Claude to weigh the variables and separate the foundational truth from the noisy debates. You now have the exact skeleton of the entire industry. Phase 2. Weaponizing friction. Most professionals look for consensus in research. This is a massive mistake. Consensus is already priced into the market. The alpha, the true strategic leverage, lies in the friction. It lies where the expert disagree. Prompt 3. The contradiction finder. Most researchers miss this entirely. You must force the AI to hunt for Systematic disagreement. Across all paper uploaded, identify every point where two or more authors directly contradict each other. For each contradiction, state both positions, name the paper, explain why they disagree, differences in methodology, dataset or era, format as a table. The engineering logic. LLMs are mathematically designed to please you by generating cohesive text. You must explicitly command it to break cohesion and highlight conflict. By asking why they disagree, you force the AI to audit the variables, instantly revealing whether a business theory is failing because of the bad data or a bad timeline. Prompt 4. The assumption killer. This is how paradigm shift strategies are born. You must find the invisible foundation that everyone is trusting but no one is verifying. List every assumption that the majority of these papers share but never explicitly test or justify. For each assumption, state it clearly. Name 1 to 2 papers that rely on it the most. Explain what would happen to the field if this assumption turned out to be wrong. Engineering logic. You are executing a stress test on the entire industry. If 40 papers assume that remote work decreased productivity, but none actually tested the network latency of the software used, you have just found a fatal flaw in the collective reasoning. You can now build a counter strategy based on this blind spot. Phase 3. The supply chain of the data. You cannot trust the conclusions of a report if you do not understand the supply chain of this data. You must audit the lineage of the idea and the methods used to gather them. Prompt 5. The citation chain. If you want to understand how a concept evolved, doing backward citations tracking manually takes weeks. Claude can do it in seconds. Pick the 3 most cited concepts across these papers. For these concepts, who introduced it first? Who challenged it? Who refined it? What is the current consensus, if any? Show me the intellectual lineage like a family tree. The engineering logic. You are mapping the historical vectors of an idea. This prevents you from referencing an outdated concept in a boardroom. You immediately know who the apex predators of this specific intellectual domains are. Prompt 6. The methodology audit. A brilliant conclusion based on a garbage methodology is worse than useless. It is a liability. Compare the research methodologies across all papers. Group by surveys, experiment, simulations, meta-analysis, case studies. Then flag which methodology dominates this field and why. Which methodology is underused, which paper's methodology is the absolute weakest and why. The engineering logic. You are forcing Claude to act as a ruthless peer reviewer. If a market analysis claims your product will fail, but Claude flags that their methodology relied on an obsolete sample size, you completely neutralizes their agreement. Phase 4. Exploiting the void. Now that you have mapped the landscape, audited the friction, and verified the data supply chain, it is time to look for what is missing. Prompt 7. The gap scanner. This is where it gets scary good. This is where you find your next multi-million-dollar product feature, your next startup idea, or your next major strategic pivot. Based on all uploaded papers, identify the 5 research questions that nobody has fully answered yet. For each gap, why does it exist? Is it too hard, too niche, or overlooked? Which existing paper come closest to answering it? What specific methodology or dataset would be needed to close it? The engineering logic. You are commanding the AI to identify negative spaces. The AI scans the vectors of all 40 papers and mathematically identifies the coordinate where no data exists. It then hands you the exact roadmap to claim that empty territory. Phase 5. The executive translation. If you have done the deep structural analysis, but if you walk into a boardroom or a client meeting and hand them a 50-page contradiction map, they will fire. You must translate the complexity into ruthless, actionable simplicity. Prompt 8. The master synthesis. This is where you aggregate the entire conversation into a single executive briefing. You now have a full picture of this literature. Write a synthesis that does not summarize individual paper. Instead, state where the field collectively believes. State what remains violently contested. State what has been proven beyond reasonable doubt. End with the single most important unanswered question. Maximum 400 words, no filler, no academic throat clearing. The engineering logic. You are forcing extreme data compression by using negative constraint like no filler and explicitly banning the summarization of the individual paper. You force the LLM to write at a macro strategic level. This is the exact brief a CEO needs to read before a major decision. Prompt 9. The so what test. You must run this prompt last. Every single time if the data does not dictate an action, it is a mere entertainment. Pretend I have to explain this entire body of research to a highly intelligent, non-expert CEO in exactly 5 minutes. Give me 1. The one-sentence version of what this field has proven. 2. The one honest admission of what it is still does not know. 3. The single real-world financial or operational implication that matters most. No jargon, no hedging, the engineering logic. You are executing the final translation layer. You are now converting the theoretical research into an immediate operational mandate. You extract the absolute highest leverage signal from the noise. Look closely at the mechanics of this workflow. If you use Claude like a basic search engine, you will remain an amateur. You will continue to drown in PDFs, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of data, desperately trying to manually extract a competitive advantage. But when you treat Claude as a cognitive reasoning engine, when you deploy this exact 9-prompt architecture, you fundamentally alter your processing speed. You turn 50 papers into a structured knowledge map in under 30 minutes. You find a systematic contradiction that your competitor missed. You surface the market gaps that are worth millions, and you compress the chaos into a 400 words executive mandate. Stop reading like a student, stop asking the AI for basic summaries. Take your next massive batch of reports, ingest them, map the landscape, weaponize the friction, scan the gaps, and extract the so what. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at top.